Please like this video. It will really help this story reach as many people as possible. Thank you so much for your support. She came in at 11:43 with her heels in her hand, like trophies. The hallway light hit the smear on her mouth, the half-done buttons, the mark on her collarbone shaped too specific to be a hug in a crowd. Citrus cologne I don't own walked in ahead of her. "Who were you with?" I asked from the kitchen. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't move. She glanced at me over the shoe straps, amused. "Needed space." "Party." "Relax." "Space smells like a men's counter at the mall now?" She slid past me like I was furniture. "Since when are you a guard dog?" "Since I signed my name on this mortgage," I replied. She didn't break stride. "Judge me in your head if it makes you feel tall." She tossed over her shoulder. "You're still sleeping alone." The bedroom door closed. I stood there with the fridge humming and the clock knowing too much. I didn't pace. I didn't flip cushions looking for evidence. I poured the whiskey back into the bottle, rinsed the glass, and put it away. If I'd known where it was headed, I would have slept harder that night. You don't see the finish line when you're tying your shoes. At 7 a.m., I called Eli Ricks. Former Army, now runs a quiet little security consultancy from a garage office in South Austin. He picks up for me because a few years ago, I helped him untie a contract problem that would have eaten his savings. "Cole," he answered, "you sound like you swallowed a nail." "I need a clean calendar audit," I said. 2 weeks. No drama. We're looking to confirm nothing. "Your wife?" "Yes." "Parameters?" "Work, home, girls' nights, yoga, spa, cash services." "Don't bump her. Don't spook anyone. Just shadow the schedule and log." "Why 2 weeks?" "Because if I can't trust for 14 days, I'm done debating it." "Copy. Send me her usual week." I emailed him before I finished the eggs. That was initiative number 1. Separate action from mood. I didn't confront. I didn't plead. I put a line on the board and stepped back. The next 2 weeks were a freezer. We shared a kitchen like coworkers and a bathroom like neighbors in a rental. She kept a playlist whispering in the bedroom when she got ready and shut it off when I walked in. I cooked. She ordered. We rotated around each other like bad satellites. First scene started the first Saturday. I was at the counter with a legal pad, outlining a partner presentation. She breezed in with a reusable cup and a sweatshirt that said nothing about where she was. "You going to be mad all day?" she asked, tapping her phone. "Not mad," I said. "Just retired from the guessing game." "That's not an answer." "It's the only one you'll get here." She leaned on the island. "I needed a late night with my friends. We danced. We laughed. You don't own my time." "I don't want to own anything," I replied. "I want to recognize what's mine in a lineup." She snorted. "Poetry now." "An invoice," I said, flipping my pad shut. "You have plans today?" "Brunch with Brooke." "Cute." "Where?" "South Congress." "What?" "Logistics." "I'll be out this afternoon." "Doing what?" "Not your business," I said evenly. "See how that feels." "Don't be petty, Ethan." "Not petty." "Demonstration." She stared like she was waiting for me to blink first. I didn't. She grabbed her keys. "Judge all you want," she said, moving toward the door. "I'm not judging. I'm measuring," I answered. "Those are different sports." On my way to the parking garage, Eli texted, "Oh, 900 to 2300 Friday. Work, then group at Violet Crown, home 2343. Nothing extra. Sat/sun, normal. Monday through Friday, gym, work, yoga, home. No deviations. DM more as needed." I told him to keep logging. No conclusions, just pieces on the table. That afternoon, I changed the house rules. I moved my suits, shoes, files into the guest room. I set up a coffee maker there and a small safe for documents. I installed a keypad lock on that door, the kind you can open with a code or a card. Not dramatic, not punitive. Logistics. If respect was leaving, privacy could ride shotgun. She noticed that night when she came by to borrow the steamer. "What's this?" she asked, taking in the rack and the cases. "Office," I said. "I need a quiet space." "You get the bedroom." "I get this. We have a home office." "We have a room with a desk that faces the neighbor's junk car," I replied. "I need a door that means something." "You're moving out?" "Inside first," I said. "Then we see." She rolled her eyes. "God, you're impossible. Where were you last night?" I asked. She arched a brow. "I told you. Party. Names." Don't interrogate me. Then don't feed me fog, I said. You're smart. Pick a lane. She left without the steamer. It wasn't a victory, just a boundary taped off like a fresh paint job. Eli's feed stayed clean. He reported yoga, a cash massage at a small place off Lamar. Nothing obviously wrong, but cash is designed to be forgettable. He logged photos of storefronts and timestamps. He sent a short note, using a secure messenger. Can't pull content. Common in social circles. No obvious male companion. Could be using rideshare to avoid patterns. We'll keep eyes open. The second scene started the night of our anniversary. We agreed to host a small dinner. Partners from the firm, Aaron from college, Brooke, two couples from the neighborhood. I ordered barbecue and a cake shaped like the state. I wore a navy suit because sometimes a suit is a shield. She dressed in white with a ribbon at her wrist like a fundraiser. The table clinked. People laughed. She was charming, a good hostess, the version of Vanessa I once signed up for. Halfway through dessert, she tapped her glass. I have a gift, she announced, beaming at everyone except me. I'm pregnant. Fork stopped. Someone gasped. Brooke squealed. My partners looked at me like I'd just landed a big client. I stood. I put my napkin on the table calmly. I'm not the father, I said, just as clear. Congratulations are due to the man who is. You could feel the room rearrange itself. Brooke's mouth fell open. Aaron stared at me because we'd played poker enough for him to know I don't bluff. Vanessa set the glass down carefully, like putting away a prop. You're humiliating me, she murmured, still smiling at the room. Let me pause the story for just a second. If you're still listening, please hit the like button on this video. It really helps YouTube show this story to more people. Thank you so much for the support. Now let's get back to the story. No, I replied. You did that when you walked in at 11:43 with a souvenir on your collarbone. I'm just updating the account. Someone coughed. One of the neighbors put a hand to her own stomach, like she could block the shock from traveling. Vanessa's eyes flashed, then smoothed over like a lake with a motor under it. Can we talk privately? She asked, teeth together. We can talk in the English language right here, I answered. Everyone's hearing it anyway. I needed space, she said quietly. Then you'll get more, I told her. Aaron cleared his throat. Maybe we should. No, I cut in. I'm done letting fog drive the car. My managing partner tried diplomacy. Ethan, maybe we all. Enjoy the brisket, I said to the table. It's paid for. Good night. I left my own house party. That was initiative number 2, public this time. A line drawn where witnesses could see it. I didn't slam a door. I didn't look back. I drove to the office, turned on the conference room lights, and sent Eli a new instruction. Add 1 more week. We're not guessing. We're knowing. He replied, Roger. Midturn came quick the next morning. Vanessa texted at 7 a.m., we should talk. I overreacted. Can we reset? Breakfast? I answered, lunch in public. 1 p.m. at Walton's. 1 hour. She showed up on time, soft sweater, hair down, no lacquer. She ordered a salad and kept touching the napkin like she wanted to fold herself into something smaller. I'm sorry about last night, she began. I was nervous. I handled it badly. You announced a pregnancy like a raffle prize, I said. I handled my boundary. I thought you'd be happy, she said. You thought I'd be boxed in, I corrected. She exhaled. You're hurt. You think the worst. I've been stressed. Work. Family. I went out too much. I was stupid. Names, I said quietly. Locations. Dates. She blinked. Why are you like a detective? Because I run a life where facts matter, I replied. Without them, everything is costumes. She glanced around the room, then back. Do you want a counselor? I want truth. She nodded as if making a brave decision. Fine. I'll be more present. I'll stop going out late. I'll give you access to my calendar. Can we just move forward? It's not a subscription with auto-renew, I said. It's a contract. It's either honored or it's gone. I'm trying, she whispered. You're negotiating, I said. There's a difference. She dabbed the corner of her eye with the napkin and gave me that angle. The one that says I'm fragile, be gentle. I didn't mock it. I didn't comfort her. I finished my coffee and slid the check her way. Pick it up, I told her. Symbolic gesture. She did, a twitch starting in her jaw. First illusion of change logged. I walked out into the heat and called Aaron. How bad, he asked. Bad enough I'm making a spreadsheet, I said. You sure you aren't nuking your life because your pride's on a hair trigger? My pride is not the part that smelled the cologne. He was quiet. All right. You're not wrecking things for fun. If your gut is yelling, there's usually a reason. I'm not wrecking anything, I said. I'm cleaning up. That afternoon at the firm, Brooke barged into my office like she owned the lease. She's blunt, always has been, and thinks volume is a winning tactic. You're a monster, she started. She stood in front of your friends and shared news, and you. I waved her into silence. Close the door, Brooke. She slammed it like that would dent me. Do you understand what you did to her? I acknowledged a reality I didn't create. She's carrying your child. No, I said calmly. She's carrying a child. Period. You're cold, she snapped. You starved her emotionally. You put work above everything. She told me how lonely. Stop, I cut her off. I get that you're her friend. Here's what you don't get. I'm not going to sit in my own office and get labeled while I pay the rent. I will not debate hallucinations. If you bring me facts, I listen. If you bring me a script, I end the meeting. You destroyed her with that line, she said. No, I replied. I destroyed a convenient story. You think you're the only rational one? You think your little bullet points make you righteous? I think you're out of line, I told her, standing. We're done. She glared. People will know who you are. They already do, I said. I'm the guy who won't be managed by hashtags. Brooke left, rattling the blinds. The door clicked. I sat back down and wrote an email to HR documenting the interaction, because life taught me to write things down before fireworks show up. Foreign Territory Initiative. Protect my workplace from her friend's campaign before it starts. Third scene arrived with the kind of precision you hate to admire. By the weekend, Vanessa's socials turned into a glossy billboard. Sonogram shots. Her hand on her stomach, eyes up like a statue. Captions about hope and new chapters. Comments telling her she's glowing, brave, blessed. A few lines about growing a heart even when someone else stays closed. She never used my name. She didn't need to. Our friends started ghosting me. Neighbors waved slower. Colleagues whispered in the hallway. The receptionist stopped meeting my eyes for a day. Vanessa stayed ice at home. She hummed while tidying as if I were a collager. When she spoke, it was logistics. She never once said we. She said I and my, like she'd discovered grammar last week. Eli's report remained stubbornly neutral. He tracked her to work, to yoga, to a different cafe, to the cash massage again. He noted a new pattern. She used a secure messenger more often, head down, fingers fast. He couldn't pull content. He did catch a rideshare to a mid-rise east of the highway one evening, stayed 35 minutes, then back to girls' night on her story. He shot me a text. No face scene. Only entrance/exit. Screen's blackout. Still no hard IDs. That night, I sat on our back porch with the fan buzzing and called my attorney friend, Patricia Nguyen. We work together occasionally, and she doesn't do bedside manner. She does results. You've got smoke and PR, she said when I finished. No fire. You want to move. Without fire, you're skating on vibes. Can we create a frame where my integrity isn't a punching bag? I asked. Voluntary polygraph, she answered without pause. You take one on your honesty and the timeline. You offer to cover cost. Then propose she take one on 2 carefully worded questions. Not accusatory. Clinical. She won't agree. Then you've positioned yourself as the one running toward truth. Judges are people. People read posture. I don't want a courtroom war, I said. We'll keep it tight, she replied. But you need a clear record. Right now, she's writing the story. I agreed. That was initiative number 3. Change the arena. We drafted a stipulation, mutual voluntary polygraphs, administered by a neutral examiner, results admissible by consent. Dry, precise. When I presented it in the kitchen, Vanessa was slicing fruit like it owed her money. No, she said without looking up. I'm not submitting to machines. It's voluntary. I've already booked mine. You don't trust me. I don't trust the narrative. It's insulting, she said. What's insulting is using a baby as a shield. I replied evenly. She slapped the knife on the cutting board. How dare you? Truth doesn't care about volume. You're not the man I married. I am, I said. I'm just not the audience you want. She threw the towel in the sink and walked out. A half hour later, I got a text from her mother. Then a call. Then another. I didn't answer the first 2. I picked up the third to keep the record clean. Ethan, her mother began in that tight way people get when they love the posture more than the person. Stop this. You're scaring my daughter. You will not bully a pregnant woman. If you don't change, we will take everything you have. You can't take what isn't yours, I replied. And bullying is a word for people who can't stand boundaries. Your fear of responsibility is obvious, she said. What's obvious is that you're too invested in the image to check the facts. You are cruel. I'm concise, I said and hung up. Aaron came by that evening with burgers. He dropped one in front of me and sat. You look like you've been living in a bank vault, he said. Noise everywhere, nothing solid, I answered. You sure about the polygraph thing? He asked. It feels like reality TV. It's a line in the sand, I said. Not a solution. He nodded slowly. You do what you have to. Just don't cut your own oxygen. I'll breathe fine once the fog clears. 2 days later, Vanessa's attorney sent a polite email agreeing to the voluntary polygraph with language tweaks that didn't change the substance. She signed. I read the signature twice. That was her second soft pivot. Too smooth, too fast. I marked it down. My exam took an hour. Control questions, baseline stuff, then the real ones. Did you have intimate relations with any person outside your marriage during the past 6 months? No. Did you make false statements to harm your wife's reputation? No. Results came back, truthful, according to the examiner. We sent them to her side along with the report that I'd taken it. She scheduled hers for the following week. Meanwhile, the rain kicked in. Austin does this thing where it forgets it's a city and tries to be a river. That night, there was thunder like moving furniture. I was packing a suitcase in the guest room. My name is on the deed, but I was done sleeping under a roof that felt like a lobby. Vanessa stood in the doorway without mascara, hair damp, no pose. You're actually leaving, she said, as if the suitcase hadn't told her already. I'm giving us both what we claim to want, I replied. Space. I miss you, she said quietly. Come back to our bed. Please. No, I said. Not cruel. Just final. Ethan, we're past speeches, I cut in. Here's the only sentence I have left. I'm filing for divorce in the morning. She didn't cry. She didn't throw anything. She nodded once, like checking a box. That's when I knew it wasn't shock. It was strategy. She'd already measured the angles and decided she could work with this. I moved into a serviced apartment near the river. It had a microwave, thin towels, a bed that doesn't care how you feel. Perfect. I took my bikes, my suits, 2 cast iron pans, and the coffee grinder. I texted the landlord, moved utilities, forwarded mail. I canceled 2 joint things and opened 2 individual ones. Clean. Efficient. Late that night, she knocked on the apartment door. Rain ran off her jacket. For a half second, the old reflex tried to stand up. I pushed it back into the chair. Let me in, she said. No, I replied through the chain. You're not on the lease. Please, she whispered. Just talk. We did, I said. Under lightning. The answer was no. You're throwing away a marriage, she said. You threw away respect, I answered. Marriage can't survive that. Can we do one counseling session? She asked. For what? I said. To rehearse. She swallowed. I made mistakes. You made choices, I corrected. Good night. She stood there one more beat, like she needed the camera to catch her profile, then left. The hallway smelled like wet carpet. I made coffee at midnight and slept like a man after surgery. Fourth scene was the preliminary hearing. Travis County does beige like it's a religion. Her attorney's angle was textbook, emotional cruelty, abandoning a pregnant spouse, a request for exclusive home use and financial support. They used her social media as a halo. They used my anniversary line as a spear. I didn't flinch. I had already taken the hit on purpose. Patricia kept it tight. My client has not engaged in derogatory public commentary, she said. He has requested mutual verification through a voluntary examination, which he completed. He has relocated to remove pressure, not to abdicate responsibility. We will submit results and propose temporary arrangements that are fair. Vanessa sat with a tissue, small nods, soft looks. The fragile routine suited her. People in the gallery leaned in. That was the second illusion in motion, strategic fragility. During a break, I stood at the water fountain and Brooke sauntered over in a dress that tried too hard. You look smaller, she said, like it was a kindness. This is eating you. I've had bigger meals, I replied. She's terrified, Brooke went on. She needs stability. She needs honesty, I said. You're old enough to know the difference. You're proving you don't care. I care about my name, I answered. That's not negotiable. Patricia touched my elbow. Walk, she whispered. We did. Her phone buzzed. She glanced at the screen, then at me. That was the examiner, she said. They scheduled Vanessa today after lunch. She didn't have to, but she did. Why? I asked. Because she thinks she can game it, Patricia replied. Or because she thinks she's untouchable. Either way, it's a move. After lunch, Vanessa went into a small side room with the neutral examiner and a chair that doesn't care about your story. The two questions were narrow. During the past 6 months, have you had intimate relations with any person other than your husband? Is your husband the biological father of the child you announced on date? I waited in the hall. Aaron leaned against the wall next to me, tie loosened. You okay? He asked. I'm fine. You're a liar, he said, half smiling. But I love you anyway. I shrugged. It's just paperwork. 15 minutes later, the examiner emerged with that neutral face government workers teach you. Vanessa came out behind him. No tears, just a tilt of her chin. I didn't ask her anything. I didn't need to. Patricia got a copy of the results summary an hour later. The examiner rated her answers as deceptive, except when she adjusted on a second pass and answered yes to the first and no to the second, after which the instrument marked truthful. In plain language, she acknowledged outside intimacy and that I was not the biological father. We had consent to submit. Patricia's hand on the folder was steady. This is your fire, she said. Keep it clinical, I told her. Always. Vanessa's attorney tried triage, language about stress, about confusion, about faulty science. Patricia held the line with the stipulation and the mutual result. The room lost air for Vanessa's side right there. The judge took it under advisement. Notes crisp, tone flat. In the hallway, Brooke finally closed her mouth. Vanessa dabbed her eyes because the role required it, but the calculation in her gaze didn't dim. Fifth scene was the fallout. The court denied her request for exclusive home use and immediate support pendant light. Plain talk, no. They proposed a neutral sale of the house later and a temporary arrangement that didn't include me paying for a PR campaign. Patricia's language was surgical. The order was boring. Boring is a victory. Vanessa's mother texted me that evening. I apologize for my words. I was misled. I hope we can find peace. I answered, thank you. Vanessa did not text. She posted a photo of a sunset with a caption about resilience and moving forward, 3 heart emojis, and a quote about storms making trees deeper roots. The comments were a mix of sympathy and the kind of moralizing people do when they're sure they'll never be in a story like this. I moved the rest of my things in one afternoon with Aaron's truck. I left the house key on the counter. I took the framed photo from the living room, the one of us at Barton Springs where I looked like a man who hadn't learned yet. I put the frame in a donation box and kept the backboard. Blank is clean. When I came by for the last box, Vanessa was there packing her own. She looked up when I walked in, expression set. You happy? She asked. I'm free, I said. You ruined me. No, I replied. I removed the stage. She crossed her arms. You think anyone's going to love you after this? You think people won't remember you abandoned? I held up a hand. Stop using the same script. It's old. You'll regret it, she said. Doubt it. You're heartless. I'm heart-protected, I answered. That took work. You can't even show compassion for a pregnant woman. I showed compassion by not turning this into a circus, I said. I kept it simple. Facts. Arrangements. Stability. You're cold, she repeated, looking for a button that didn't exist anymore. I'm steady, I told her. She pointed at my suitcase like that changed anything. Get out. Gladly. I walked to the door, then paused. Final acts deserve a final line, not a slam. I turned back. You don't lose me, I said. You lose access to me. Those are not the same thing. She blinked, not expecting that angle. I left. Final scene is always quieter than the fireworks imply. People think the end is a bang. Sometimes it's just a door that closes on time. Months later, here's my epilogue because people love epilogues. I kept the service department 3 months and then bought a modern little house east of the highway with a garage big enough for the bikes, and a backyard big enough for a smoker and a Saturday. I drive a modest truck again because I'm done dressing for anyone else's approval. Work is better without drama walking through the lobby. I hit partner numbers last quarter. The firm's Christmas party felt like a room where my name was my own. Aaron introduced me to a friend of his sister's named Lauren. She's sane, owns a landscaping company, and doesn't have a social media brand. We go for tacos at a place with picnic tables and talk about irrigation more than feelings. It's refreshing. Eli and I grabbed beers at a neighborhood bar last week. He toasted me without making it a movie. You did what men say and rarely do, he said. You walked. I hate walking, I replied. I prefer closing the file. Whatever you call it, he said. You're lighter. As for Vanessa, I don't follow, but people keep you updated without being asked. The house sold. She moved into a rental close to her mother. The glow on her page dimmed. She still posts quotes. She still gets sympathy. That's her oxygen. I don't need to turn it off. I just don't breathe it. Brooke ran into me at HEB and tried for small talk. You look good, she said, like it hurt. I am, I replied simply. You don't regret it? Regret is for people who didn't make a choice, I said. I did. She nodded once, forced. Good for you. Good for me. I agreed and reached for the salsa. Patricia sent me a final email with the last bit of paperwork. All done, she wrote. Clean ending. I stared at the two words for a minute. Clean ending. Sounds like a commercial for something that never stains. Life stains. That's fine. It also dries. One time, late on a Tuesday, my phone buzzed. Unknown number. I answered out of habit. Ethan, her mother's voice, smaller. I wanted to say again. I'm sorry. I was wrong about you. You were wrong about a lot of things, I said. But apology accepted. She exhaled like she'd been holding breath for a season. Thank you. You're welcome, I said and ended the call. No need to carry anyone else's penance. If you're listening for advice, here's the only piece I own without apology. Don't argue with smoke. Don't beg a mirror. Don't let public theater make you rewrite your gut. Set the rule. Build the logistics. Cut the cord. Walk out steady. If they wanted to keep you, they should have kept respect. People will call you cold for not playing hero in someone else's story. Let them. Cold is just what warm looks like after you stop burning yourself to keep a room comfortable for everyone else. I don't miss the old house. I don't miss being a character in a feed. I miss the man I was before I let politeness talk me out of my own eyes. Luckily, he's back. He drinks his coffee black in a quiet kitchen and starts the day with the one promise I can keep every time. You will not be managed. You will not be rewritten. You will not be the safety net for someone jumping on purpose. That's not bitterness. That's maintenance. If you ever find yourself in a kitchen at 11:43 with a clock screaming and a smell that shouldn't be there, don't torch your life. Don't smash plates. Call your Eli. Move your suits. Draw the line where people can see it. Take the test. Move out. Say the sentence. Then go buy a plant and learn how to keep it alive. It's less dramatic than scrolling, but it's real. My anniversary is just a date now. The brisket was good. The cake was too sweet. The line I used that night wasn't theater. It was truth in a room that needed it. I wasn't cruel. I was precise. Precision is a kindness. It saves time you don't get back. So that's my story. Not a soap. A sequence. She wanted control, comfort, status. She used a child as a lever in a world that rewards optics. I used facts, locks, moves. She played to the crowd. I played to the record. In the end, the crowd found a new show, and the record did what records do. Cold, accurate, boring. Boring saves lives. When Vanessa thinks of me, if she does, I hope she remembers the exact sentence in the doorway. You don't lose me. You lose access to me. That's the only lesson I want her to keep. The rest can be hashtags. Now, if you'll excuse me, I've got a Saturday run, a grocery list that doesn't include drama, and a backyard that needs a chair moved 6 inches to the left. That's what peace looks like. It's not applause. It's a quiet room with your name on the lease and your head clear enough to hear the coffee maker click. Our story has come to an end. If you've made it this far, how about subscribing to our channel? It helps us immensely. I've selected 2 other videos for you that I'm sure you'll enjoy. Feel free to click on them. I'll be waiting for you in the next story. See you soon.